How is it that in the 20 years since Love Hina, the formula for harem anime hasn't changed one bit? With 3 different harem anime based on 3 massively popular harem manga airing this spring, there's no better time to ask that question. Surround a loser guy with a gaggle of beautiful women all in love with him, still the same now as it was back then. Still a staple of late night anime, it stuck around in the crosshairs of otaku culture virtually unchanged, like a coelacanth of moe. Unlike other long-lasting trends like, say, mecha anime, the genre hasn't endeared itself more to fans over time. If anything, people today are more cynical about the harem genre than ever before. But despite that fact, sales numbers prove that fans can't help but watch. And on some level, everyone can see these shows as the exploitative drivel they are. Yet still their eyes are glued to the screen and still they dump their paychecks for PVC. But why? After all, it seems very few people enjoy harem anime as the polyamorous fantasy the name would imply, and I've only ever seen the idea of an actual harem ending being reviled and treated as a cop-out by the majority of fans. No, it would seem that fans have found some other way, some unintentional way of enjoying harem anime, some appeal that most people don't even recognize themselves. I think it's no coincidence that harem anime's popularity coincided with the advent of the World Wide Web, and websites like Nichanaru and Futaba. To most audiences, harems aren't actually romantic comedies, or fantasies about dating multiple girls. No, what they are is actually sports anime. In the case of harem anime, the existence of fans themselves fundamentally alters the experience of watching a show. We all know how different it is watching an anime alone versus watching it with friends. Something that might be a personal, contemplated experience instead becomes a social activity. A sad moment turns comical when someone invariably cracks a joke. In a crowd, watching the show is only half the fun. We feed off the reaction of others and the interaction that stems from it. Hell, that's the foundation of most YouTubers' careers. The simple fact that there exist people to talk to completely changes the experience of an anime. Today, the internet's 24-hour connections mean that there is now perpetual dialogue about these anime. For every 24 minutes we get a week, we spend far more time discussing these shows than we do watching them. Harem stories might have started out as romantic comedies with the intent of pandering to as wide a crowd as possible by providing a different kind of girl for each taste. Everyone has something to fawn over, and more importantly, buy merchandise of, but in the great melting pot of the internet, human nature quickly reduced this to tribalism. If you're a fan of harem anime, consider this. Who do you actually relate to and root for? Is it the spineless, generic main character, or is it your favorite girl? The best girl, the one you want to win over that boring male lead. The viewer's focus isn't on the supposed protagonist, it's on the girls. In discussions about harem anime, I've never seen the main guy be a factor. The majority of the time is spent arguing about which girl will win. To me, that phrase, winning, reveals everything. It's not about who's the most fitting romantic partner, it's not about watching a dramatic and heart-tingling love story develop. It's not even about living out a Mormon fantasy. No, the appeal of harems, intentional or not, is in following the journey of your favorite girl, seeing her overcome obstacles from outside and within. Those girls are the true protagonists, and the harem is a contest. That male protagonist is not the focus of the story, he's a token prize for our true heroes. The girls, on a quest for the treasure of D. The true satisfaction of a harem is watching that girl crush her enemies, see them driven before her, and hear the lamentations of their woman. The tears and vindication is the best part. With so many people around, with so many differing opinions, your favorite girl in a harem isn't just the girl you want to win anymore. In a story where all the characters are so distinct and unique, in a community filled with dissenting voices, your best girl becomes part of your identity, your cause. You root for her because she deserves to be happy, and if she wins, then you win. The world is a fair place because the girl who was the most talented and worked the hardest won. Those people that agree with you, they're your brothers in arms. They're smart, just like you. They've also seen the light. And those fans of other girls, well, they're just secondaries who only like that other girl because she has big boobs. They haven't seen how intelligent and complex and nuanced your girl is, and how much bigger her boobs are. You need to show them the error of their ways, preferably by repeatedly shouting that their team is garbage and how your team will crush them without a fight. Am I describing anime or the 1962 World Cup? Harem anime is a dog race. You pick a bitch and bet on her. Then you watch a bunch of bitches run around a repetitive circuit chasing this useless artificial piece of crap that keeps running away. At the end, some bitch wins, someone feels like their bet paid off, and everyone else is butthurt that their dog lost. Then everyone moves on to the next race. The worst possible ending is one where no one crosses the finish line, no one wins, no one's bet pays off, and it's just a bad day at the races. Humans can find sport in just about anything. Is arguing over harem anime any stupider than rooting for a college football team just because you went to that school? Or wishing hell on another country because they beat you at soccer? Or spending thousands of dollars to ensure that some Swede has more subscribers than a toilet company? Yes it is. Way more stupid. But it's only marginally dumber than pro wrestling. Harem manga are also entirely scripted and feature outlandish characters dressed in bright outfits, except they replace homoerotic man-fondling with catty backstabbing, and instead of a belt, the girls fight over some skinny manlet instead. The prize itself is entirely arbitrary though. If you were to boil down harem anime to their core engagement, it would be cute girls competing over useless things. And I'd argue you see this formula all over Japanese pop culture. A show like Girls Own Panzer, in some sense, has the same structure as a harem anime, especially in how it mixes the competitive element with fluffier, slice-of-life antics. Idolmaster Cinderella Girls has a vote every year to see who will be crowned top idol, and that fosters a sporty, competitive atmosphere, just like harems, with fans of different girls breaking up into camps and campaigning on behalf of who they think deserves to win. And just like idol contests, character popularity polls, once a rarity, are now frequently run for harem manga, and often ends up swaying the course of the story. It goes to show that, to some extent, authors have become aware of this phenomenon. After all, it's been 20 years. Likely, the harem writers today grew up watching Love Hina and Tenchi Muyo and maybe Zero no Tsukaima. These creators remember what it was like when they were obsessed with harems, and indeed, one of the major factors for the success of their harem manga is their acuity and understanding of the competitive nature. Neither Weekend Study nor quintessential quintuplets. God, that's hard to say. Who the fuck was in charge of marketing? Anyways, neither of those two try to push for much romantic development at all. So little screen time gets devoted to the supposed main characters that they feel like empty, famished husks of monotone men. These are terrible, irredeemable traits for a romance, but they create more room for the girls to express their appeal, and leave things ambiguous to spark debate. It's a trade-off that they're happy to make. A show like The Quint is particularly clever. It states from the outset that there will be a bride, which creates a tangible objective for the characters and the viewers. Winning isn't just a nebulous idea floating around in the heads of fans. You can see the trophy off in the distance. This suspense encourages even more conversation about the series. I haven't seen this many pointless nerd arguments about a harem since Nisekoi ended. And you could be cynical about all this, say harems are manipulative and artificial, but couldn't the same be said about all sports? As humans, by nature, we naturally gravitate toward tribalism. We want to identify with a group of similarly minded individuals, and we enjoy having rivals to compete against. There's something in our animal nature that enjoys defending a cause. As for me, I've come to embrace this rat race that is harem anime. In conclusion, I want to leave you with two thoughts. One, it's human nature to compete over frivolous things and to love cute girls. There's nothing shameful about that. Tilt the lens a little, and you'll see that a harem anime isn't really a polyamorous relationship between the hero and 5 women. It's a romance between the viewer and their chosen girl. That choice is only given meaning when there are attractive alternatives, and the spectator sport aspect of harem anime isn't to be underestimated. The best harems aren't always the most satisfying romances, they're the ones that provide the most satisfying experiences. Number 2, when watching harem anime, you must always remember the empirical, objective, undeniable fact that Nino is best girl, fuck the haters, roll tide.